Hi folks, welcome back to this week's video. A little bit different from last week, and it's a bit more of a walk than a scramble. As with any of these videos, you know, I'll put a link in the description for you. You can download like the route description and GPX and all that sort of jazz. Again, it makes things a little bit easier. For a lot of people, I guess like Catbells is a really great introduction to lakeland walking and fell walking in general. You know, super accessible. It's not a massive hike, and to be honest with you, if you've got kids, it's a great introduction or great way to get them out on the hill, especially if you're up and visiting. I love Catbells because actually the views are really great. I don't know if you can sort of see it, but just behind me you've got like Blencathra, Skiddaw and some of the sort of higher fells as well, and the views are really spectacular. It's about a mile long from the car park to the summit. It can take as long as it needs to, can't it, you know. It's about 7 o'clock at the moment, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm going to get a bit of a sunrise, so I'll try and share some of that footage with you. I guess with any of these videos, you know, and I suppose any mountain walk, especially this time of the year, it's big hat season now, isn't it? Just make sure that if you're not sure where you're going or what you're doing, that you've got a guide. There's plenty of them in the lakes, you know, or alternatively, drop me an email or a shout, ask us some, you know, some advice or something like that. I'd rather do that than anybody get themselves into trouble. But just make sure that you're prepared. I've done a video on that as well, so I'll put a link in the description for that as well. I don't know if you can see this, but the sky's just started to light up a little bit, so I'm going to try and get to a little bit higher up and share some of the footage with you. So I'll try and catch you a little bit higher up. First little bit of Catbells, there's nothing more really than a little bit of a sort of steep uphill walk. There's a really good path which makes it amazing to walk on, and then you'll get to like a little sort of, I say scramble, but I want to say it really loosely because it's nothing more with a couple of sort of rocky steps, and it's quite well polished, so when it's wet it's a little bit of a nightmare. So if you are heading up, particularly after it's rained, just take that into consideration. Hopefully you can see, right, how amazing the view is. Cameras never do it any justice, I don't think, but like I said in the last little bit, I'll try and capture some of the footage for it because it's absolutely stunning. I mean, look at this. Cool, so once you've done that little sort of scrambly section, again I say that really loosely because it's not really, as you've just seen, then it just turns into a little bit of rolling hills on a really good path, as I've already said. You'll see Catbells, probably people on it I imagine, depending on what time of the year you're on, and that's just directly in front. There's a sort of steep section that you've got to climb. It looks a lot worse than it actually is, certainly when you're sort of walking towards it. If you stay to the right, it's a really good, obvious way up. And it's nice and straightforward, as I've sort of mentioned. I guess, like, you know, someone asked me a couple of days ago when I put the blog out about how long it would take to get from the car park. I don't really know is the honest answer for you. I guess that depends on the person. For me, I could probably look at about an hour up, but again, I don't know, you just don't have to go with it yourselves, but I would personally just try and enjoy it because the views, even on like a day like today, the views are amazing. Unfortunately, clouds have come in and it's just sort of hidden the sun a little bit. Fingers crossed by the time I get to the top we'll have a little bit more clear skies and be able to capture a bit of this sunrise that I've come out for. But so far, as hopefully you've seen in the footage, it's been pretty good. Right, so I'm going to try and get as much good footage for this video to paint as clear a picture for you about this, but when you're here and you're sort of looking back or looking onto it, you realise there's nothing really to worry about, I promise. So once you have done that last little steep section, it's nothing more than a little bit of a hill walk to the summit. You can go right if you're feeling a little bit adventurous on this last little section. It's a little bit more scrambly if you like, or you can go left, which is what I've done, and it just sort of takes a path with a little steep climb to the top of the scrambly bit, and before you know it, you're on the summit. Unfortunately, as you can probably see, it's got a little windy and a little cloudy. I'm not too convinced about this sunrise, but I'm optimistic, so I'm going to spend a couple of minutes on the summit. So let's go and see how it looks. So that's me on the summit. I don't know how much you can see, but there's the sun just rising behind me. Unfortunately, it's not the greatest view today. As you can probably tell, it's a bit snowy at the moment. Catbells, great little mountain if you've never been up it, and in actual fact if you have been up it like me, you know, it's still really great. It's great views, hopefully you've seen a little bit of that, and in actual fact it's got a little bit of something for everybody. You know, I really just want to touch on something, it cannot stress this enough, especially with like these videos about me sort of throwing out bits about, you know, some really cool walks in the lake. You need to come out prepared, yeah. Like, if you don't know where you're going, you don't know what you're doing, fair play, kudos, you're sort of paying the right diligence and paying the sort of, you know, the right sort of research for the hills, but just make sure that you're prepared. It's winter at the moment here in the lakes, and I can't stress this enough again. You need to be prepared. If you haven't got crampons and you haven't got an understanding of weather, go and get somebody who does, alright? Because I just don't want anyone to watch this and have a little bit of an epic or an epic altogether. Alright, just be careful is what I'm saying. Fingers crossed next time you're up here, you'll get a much better view than I will with snow going in my eyes than I have, alright? And if you do, share it with me. You can go onto Instagram, give us a little sort of thumbs up, a follow, and hit the subscribe button as well. That'd be really greatly appreciated. Support's been amazing for all these, and there's loads of stuff that we're going to do coming into winter. It might be a little bit harder, but all the support goes a long way. It really does. It means a lot, and it keeps me out of trouble, doesn't it? And anyone who knows me will know that I can find that pretty easily. Cool. I'm going to head down because it's it's just past 8 o'clock. I haven't had my breakfast yet, so I'm going to try and grab a coffee and string this into some sort of short YouTube video. Thanks guys, and I'll catch you next week.